Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, you just don't belong in a regular job? Like every time you clock in, a part of your soul fights against it. Like it's suffocating, shrinking, losing its fire. It's not just in your head. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you're ungrateful. It's because you were never meant to be there in the first place. From the moment you step into the workforce, something feels off, like you're walking a path that was never meant for you. You feel drained. Your energy is different from everyone else's. And no matter how hard you try to make it work, your spirit keeps rejecting it. This is the universe trying to tell you something. You were not born to be an employee. You were not put on this earth to wake up every morning, trade your time for a paycheck, and live according to someone else's vision. You are a chosen one, a leader, a creator, a force meant to disrupt and transform the world, not fit into a system designed to control and contain you. And yet society keeps telling you the same lie, that you need to get a good job, work hard, and build a stable career. But deep down, you know, stability means sacrifice, a sacrifice of your freedom, your power, and your purpose. If you've ever felt like no job is right for you, like no matter where you go, something feels wrong, this video is going to open your eyes. Because today, I'm breaking down 8 powerful reasons why chosen ones should never look for work that isn't their calling. And by the time we're done, you'll never see a job the same way again. Your energy is unlike anyone else's. You've probably noticed it. You walk into a room, and people either gravitate toward you or seem uncomfortable around you. Some admire you, while others feel threatened. Even if you haven't done anything, it's because your aura is different, your presence is strong, and your spirit carries a weight that most people can't ignore. Now, imagine taking that energy and forcing it into a job, a place where you're expected to be like everyone else, to follow the rules, to be a part of the system. The moment you step into that environment, something inside you resists. You might not even know why, but you feel it, like you're being caged, like your natural power is being dimmed. It's not a coincidence. You were never meant to be contained. See, the workplace was designed for predictability, for control. It thrives on repetition, on routines, on people who can be molded into the perfect employees. But chosen ones? We don't fit into molds. We break them. And when your energy enters a space that's built for conformity, it disrupts everything. People sense it. Some are drawn to you, coming to you for advice, guidance, and inspiration, even when you don't try. Others, they resent you. They don't understand why your presence feels different, why you don't seem stressed like they do, why you seem to be operating on an entirely different frequency. It's because you are. And that energy? It's too powerful to be confined within a job. Jobs are built on structure, on people doing what they're told, on people falling in line. And the moment you step into that world, you instantly feel the conflict. You feel drained. The tasks feel meaningless. You try to tell yourself, this is just what people do, but your spirit keeps rejecting it. It's like trying to trap fire inside a glass jar. The fire wasn't meant to be contained. It was meant to spread, to grow, to transform everything around it. So when you force yourself into a job, you aren't just wasting time. You're shrinking yourself. You're making yourself smaller, just to fit into a system that was never built for you. And the longer you stay, the more disconnected you become from your true power. And let's talk about authority, because this is where it gets even deeper. You've probably noticed this about yourself. You don't like being told what to do. Not because you're rebellious, not because you want to cause problems, but because something inside you knows you were never meant to follow orders. The moment someone tries to control you, you feel it. That internal resistance, that deep urge to push back. It's not just an attitude thing. It's because your soul was never wired for submission. But in a job, That's exactly what they expect from you. Show up at this time. Do this. Follow these rules. Don't question the system. You can feel the conflict between your spirit and the job structure every single day. And the worst part? The more you force yourself to obey, to suppress that resistance, the more you start to lose yourself. You become numb, moving through the motions, just trying to get through the day. But deep down, you know this isn't right. You were born to lead, to create, to carve your own path. But every time you take a job, you're choosing someone else's path over your own. You're placing yourself in a system where someone else decides your worth. They tell you how much your time is worth. They decide when you can take a break, when you can go home, how much you can earn. Think about that. Every time you clock in, you're not just giving your energy, you're giving away your freedom. And for what? A paycheck that barely covers your real dreams. A sense of security that keeps you trapped. And that's if you can even stand the environment. Because let's be honest, most workplaces are a spiritual nightmare. Have you ever walked into a job and immediately felt heavy? Like the air itself is full of stress, negativity, and exhaustion. It's because most workplaces are filled with low vibrational energy. People are miserable, they're tired, they gossip, they compete, they tear each other down. It's an environment built on scarcity, where everyone is afraid of losing their job, of not being good enough, of falling behind. And for most people, that's normal. They've been conditioned to believe that work is supposed to feel this way, that stress, frustration, and exhaustion are just part of life. But you feel it deeply. It affects you in ways you can't even explain. You feel exhausted, even when you haven't done much. You feel drained, like something is literally pulling energy out of you. And over time, you might even start feeling depressed, disconnected, and empty. That's because your energy operates at a higher frequency. And being surrounded by low vibrations every day is like pouring poison into a pure stream. And here's the thing, it doesn't get better. You can try to adjust, try to be positive, try to just focus on the work. But deep down, your soul is screaming for something more. Because you weren't meant to survive in this system. You were meant to break free from it. And the more you force yourself to stay in this energy, the more you risk losing yourself completely. You risk losing that fire, that purpose, that power that makes you who you are. So if you've been struggling to keep a job, if you feel like work is draining your soul, if you've ever felt like you just don't belong in the 9-to-5 world, it's because you don't. Your soul is telling you to wake up, to break free, to stop chasing work that was never meant for you. Because the longer you ignore that truth, the harder life becomes. And the more you step into your real purpose, the more everything starts to make sense. Creativity is the essence of who you are. It's not just something you do, it's how your mind works, how your soul expresses itself, how you connect with the world. It's what makes you feel alive. But the workplace, it doesn't care about creativity. It cares about efficiency, about structure, deadlines, and routines. It's built to turn people into machines, to keep them predictable, controlled, and replaceable. And when a chosen one steps into that environment, it's like trying to fit a wildfire inside a tiny box. At first, you might tell yourself, I can make this work. You think maybe you can be creative within the system. Maybe you can bring fresh ideas, new solutions, a different way of thinking. But then reality hits. They don't want new ideas. They don't care about fresh perspectives. They want you to do what you're told, to follow the established way, to stick to the script. And slowly, that fire inside you starts to fade. You notice it in small ways. Maybe you stop writing, stop painting, stop creating music. The ideas that used to come so effortlessly, they start feeling distant. You go to work, come home, and feel too drained to do anything that once made you feel passionate. And worst of all, you start believing that maybe your creativity was never that important to begin with. That's the real danger of working a job that isn't aligned with your soul. It doesn't just limit you, it kills parts of you, slowly, silently, until one day you wake up and realize you've become a shell of who you used to be. But deep inside, that fire is still there, waiting, fighting to survive. Because you weren't put on this earth to be a worker. You were put here to create, to innovate, to bring something new into existence. And no job, no paycheck, no boss should ever have the power to take that away from you. And let's talk about money, because this is where people get stuck. You've probably been told your whole life that a job is the only way to survive. That without it, you'll struggle, you'll suffer, you'll be nothing. But that's a lie. Think about this. Every time you accept a job, you're letting someone else decide how much your time is worth. Someone else determines your salary, your raises, your financial limits. And the worst part? No matter how hard you work, no matter how many extra hours you put in, you will never be paid what you're truly worth. Because jobs aren't designed to make you wealthy. They're designed to keep you just comfortable enough that you won't leave, but never free enough to actually escape. You see, the chosen ones aren't meant to earn a paycheck. They're meant to create wealth. Wealth that isn't tied to hours worked, or someone else's approval. Wealth that grows because you own your time, your ideas, and your power. And that's why staying in a job too long is so dangerous. It conditions you to accept limitations. It makes you believe that money can only come from a paycheck. That stepping outside the system is too risky. But look at the people who truly create impact in the world. The artists, the visionaries, the entrepreneurs, the spiritual leaders. They don't work for someone else. They own their time. They build something that reflects their true gifts. And that's what you should be doing. Instead of trading your time for money, you should be finding ways to build a life where money flows to you effortlessly. Whether it's through your creativity, your wisdom, your ability to inspire others, your wealth should be a reflection of your purpose, not a number set by a corporation. Because the moment you realize this, you become unstoppable. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. A job isn't just stealing your time and your creativity, it's stealing your freedom. Think about how much control your job has over your life. It tells you when to wake up, when to eat, when to take a break, when to live your life. And if you try to break free, if you ask for time off, if you try to create more space for yourself, you risk being punished. You risk losing your income, your stability, your security. That's not just a job, that's a prison. And for chosen ones, this level of restriction is spiritually suffocating. You weren't put on this planet to spend 40+ hours a week building someone else's dream while your own dreams sit on hold. You weren't meant to wake up every day dreading the next 8 hours, counting down the days until your next break, spending years trapped in the same cycle. Just so one day, maybe in your 60s, you can finally live the life you actually want. Number, your soul didn't come here for that. Your soul came here to be free. To move as it's guided, to create, to impact, to explore. But the longer you stay in a job that restricts your time, your energy, and your spirit, the harder it becomes to hear your own intuition. You start doubting yourself. You start thinking, maybe this is just how life is. But deep down, you know the truth. You know you were meant for more. And every moment you waste inside a system that was never meant for you, you are delaying the life you were born to live. Because the day you finally walk away, the day you finally step into your true purpose, that's the day everything changes. Have you ever noticed how, no matter what job you take, you always end up attracting attention? Maybe people seem drawn to you, always asking for your advice, always looking to you for leadership, even when you're not trying to lead. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you find yourself becoming a target, co-workers gossiping about you, bosses micromanaging you, people treating you differently without any logical reason. At first you might think, Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. But deep down, you've always felt it. You don't blend in. You don't go unnoticed. Your presence alone changes the energy of a room. And in the workplace, that can be dangerous. Because the moment you enter a job, the system starts noticing you. People can sense there's something different about you, even if they don't understand what it is. You don't operate on the same level as everyone else. You don't just go along with things. You see through the nonsense. You don't engage in office politics. You don't blindly follow orders. You don't pretend to be something you're not. And that makes people uncomfortable. Because the majority of the workforce is made up of people who are asleep. People who have accepted their role, who have conformed, who have lost their fire. They don't question things. They don't challenge the system. They just do what they're told. But then you show up, with your presence, with your energy, with your light, and without even realizing it, you start to disrupt everything. Some people will be inspired by you. They'll admire you. They'll see you as a leader, someone who gives them hope, someone who reminds them of what's possible. But others will resent you. Not because you've done anything to them, but because your very existence forces them to confront their own limitations. They see you standing in your power, and it triggers them. They wonder why they feel stuck, why they've settled for a life that doesn't fulfill them. But instead of looking inward, instead of asking themselves why they feel so empty, they project that frustration onto you. So they gossip. They try to bring you down. They test you in small, subtle ways, undermining you, excluding you, trying to make you doubt yourself. Not because you're the problem, but because they can't handle what you represent. And the worst part? It's not just co-workers. Even your bosses, your supervisors, the people who are supposed to be above you, they feel it too. They sense that you're not just another employee. You don't bow down to their authority the way others do. You don't seek approval. You don't live in fear of losing your job. And that scares them. Because the workplace is built on control. And chosen ones, we are uncontrollable. No matter how much we try to just do our job, we always stand out. And in a system designed to keep people in line, standing out can make you a threat. So ask yourself, why are you still trying to fit into a place that clearly rejects you? Why keep putting yourself in situations where people don't understand you, don't value you, don't see you for who you truly are? The answer is simple. You've been conditioned to believe that you have to. From the moment you were born, society has tried to mold you into a worker. You were told to go to school, to get good grades, to find a stable job, to build a career. But they never told you the truth. They never told you that this system was never built for people like you. They never told you that some people are meant to follow and others are meant to lead. And you? You were always meant to lead. You've always known there was something more. You've always felt that pull, that deep, undeniable knowing that you're here for a greater purpose. But every time you take a job, every time you try to fit into the system, you delay that purpose. You put your destiny on hold. You sacrifice your own power just to make other people comfortable. But the truth is, you were never meant to be comfortable. You were meant to rise. You were meant to break the mold. You were meant to challenge everything that is broken in this world and create something new. And that can't happen if you keep playing small. That can't happen if you keep shrinking yourself to fit inside a job, inside a paycheck, inside a routine that doesn't serve you. Because you are bigger than that. You are bigger than any job, bigger than any title, bigger than the expectations that society has placed on you. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you step into your true power. No more looking for jobs that drain you. No more settling for a life that doesn't inspire you. No more pretending to be something you're not just to make others feel comfortable. It's time to embrace who you really are. Because the moment you do, everything changes. You stop looking for opportunities, and opportunities start looking for you. You stop chasing money, and money starts flowing toward you. You stop waiting for permission, and you start creating your own path. And the best part? Once you step into your purpose, once you fully accept that you were never meant to follow the rules, you'll never question yourself again. Because you'll finally see the truth. You were never meant to be an employee. You were never meant to work under someone else's vision. You were meant to build something greater. You were meant to create, to inspire, to transform. And when you finally stop chasing what was never meant for you, you'll find exactly what you were meant to do. The only question is, are you ready to step into it? Think about this for a second. What if everything you've been searching for has been inside you all along? What if the reason you feel out of place in the world of work, in the system, in the daily grind, is because you were never meant to be there? What if your frustration, your exhaustion, your constant feeling of there has to be more, isn't a problem, but a message, a sign from the universe, from your own soul, trying to wake you up? Because let's be real, if you were meant to fit into this system, you would have felt comfortable in it. You wouldn't feel like you're suffocating every time you clock in. You wouldn't feel like your potential is being wasted. But you do. And that's because you were never meant to be just another worker, just another person doing what they're told, just another name on a payroll. You were born to build something, to lead something, to create something that no one else can. But every single day that you ignore that truth, you are keeping yourself small. You are delaying your destiny. You are wasting the very gifts that make you who you are. And here's the hardest truth of all. No one is coming to save you. There is no boss, no mentor, no job offer, no lucky break that is going to suddenly free you from this system and place you into your purpose. That's your job. That's your responsibility. And the longer you wait for permission, for the right time, for some kind of perfect moment to leave what doesn't serve you, the more time you lose. How many more years are you willing to trade away before you finally say, enough? How many more times are you going to tell yourself, maybe next year, maybe when I have more money, maybe when things feel safer? How many more times are you going to ignore that voice inside you, the one that's been screaming at you to stop playing small, to stop pretending, to stop making excuses? Because the truth is, you already know what you need to do. You already feel it in your bones. You are meant for more. And deep down, you know it. But knowing it is not enough. You have to act on it. You have to make the decision that from this moment on, you are done living on autopilot. You are done giving your power away. You are done waiting for a future that will never come, unless you create it. You have to decide that you are stepping into your purpose. Right now. Not next year. Not someday. Now. Because the moment you truly decide, everything changes. The right ideas start flowing to you. The right people start showing up. The right doors start opening. Not because of luck. Not because the world magically changed overnight, but because you changed. Because you finally stepped into the person you were always meant to be. And if you're still sitting there wondering, but what if I fail? Ask yourself this. What if you never even try? What if 5 years from now, you're still in the same place, having the same thoughts, making the same excuses, wishing you had started today? What if the biggest regret of your life isn't failing, but never taking the leap at all? Because if you wait too long, if you ignore your calling for too many years, eventually, that fire inside you, it will go out. Your dreams will become distant memories. Your purpose will feel like something that belonged to a younger version of you, someone you lost along the way. And that is a far worse fate than failure, because at least when you try, you grow, you evolve, you become. But when you do nothing, you slowly fade into a life that was never meant to be yours. And that's not what you came here for. You came here to create something legendary. You came here to impact, to inspire, to build something that lasts beyond you. You came here to wake up every morning feeling fully alive. And the only thing standing between you and that life is the choice you make right now. So let me ask you this. Are you ready? Are you ready to stop shrinking yourself? Are you ready to stop wasting your potential on jobs, routines, and structures that don't serve you? Are you ready to step into your power, to claim your place, to build the life you were born to live? If you are, drop "I am ready" in the comments right now. Because the moment you type it, the moment you declare it, you are putting your energy into motion. You are sending a message to the universe, to your future self, to every force that has been waiting for you to finally step up. No more waiting, no more questioning, no more holding back. Your time is now, and the moment you truly believe that, your entire life will transform.